Hey everyone, today I have Bod Federico with me. He's the owner of both Federico Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep, as well as Federico Kia in Wood River, Illinois. If you're in the St. Louis area, I'm sure you've heard of You Got to Go to Federico. So, how are you, Bob?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I have to ask, how did you come up with that slogan?
Well, I wish I could tell you that was a brainstorm that I had. We had an advertising gal that worked for us years ago,
Yeah,
and she's the one who came up with it a long time, 20 years ago. And we've just kind of stuck with it. It was an easy to remember and easy to say, and kind of fit the mode. So yeah, I didn't come up with that one, but I'll take claim for it.
you'll take it. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's again, everyone knows it. So, I have to ask, as we go through this pandemic situation, how are you and the family and the business holding up?
You know, as a family and as a business, we're holding up great. I got to tell you, I am so proud of my employees, my coworkers. When this first happened, we had a meeting with everybody by departments, and I told everybody from the get-go was that if you were not comfortable being here, if you felt that you were better served from health issues, whatever it was, you know, stay home. No hard feelings. Your job will be here when you get back. No retribution, none of that silly stuff. I
Hmm.
wanted them to be comfortable. I had a few that chose to stay home,
Yeah,
and probably for most of those people, that was the best decision, in my opinion,
hmm,
for whether it was their own health reasons or family members or what have you.
for sure.
So I 100% understood that and still do. The people that stayed have been tremendous. Everybody has kept an absolutely great attitude.
Mhm.
Um, they haven't let the slowness of things get them down because it has slowed down quite a bit. But they're staying positive, and we're doing our part from the management side, and we're staying positive because I really believe that makes a difference. Um, but they've done a tremendous job. I've been so impressed with the fact that they just have not let it get them down. So I'm pleased with that, and couldn't ask for anything better. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I think being positive is the best thing you can do. I know that I shared something recently on Facebook about positive habits that people are creating that they plan on continuing after this. I mean, I think that if individuals are using this time properly, there could be a ton of personal development, a lot of personal growth to come from all this downtime.
yeah, I really believe that because I'll tell you, excuse me, when I started in the business, which was 1981, a couple of years ago, uh, interest rates were 20% if you had good credit. It was a crazy time, and honestly, I was young and inexperienced and didn't know any better, and it was probably a good thing because I just knew I had to go in and do my job, and I
Mhm.
stayed positive, and it worked, and was successful. It worked out really well. One of the first gentlemen that I met when I got to the dealership told me how crazy I was. Why was I there? You can't make any money and you can't sell cars. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of options.
Yeah.
So that wasn't an option for me, was to go there and not sell something.
Did
So
that motivate you, Bob?
it, it just proved to me in a short time that, a positive attitude went a long way. That gentleman wasn't there very long after I started.
Mhm.
And here I am, you know, uh, a lot of years later, right? 39 years later.
Right.
Um,
And not just that,
and
but extremely successful as well.
Well, I just really believe that, Mike. One of the things here, I don't allow them to be on, I don't allow them to watch the news, for example. I
Mhm.
don't keep the news on. We have lots of uh, um, television screens all over the place, and I don't allow them to do that. And not for any other reason, not censorship.
Mhm.
After 5 minutes of the news, what are they telling you? The same thing they told you day after day, hour after hour, negative, 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 especially now. There's nobody's talking about much positive. So
Right.
why get yourself beat up and depressed about stuff that you can't control? So,
It
um,
100%. I think sometimes clients are surprised whenever they hear me say that I don't watch CNBC very often or
yeah,
Fox Business. I mean, to me, it's just noise.
yeah.
I curate and get my news from certain sources, and everything that's on TV is effectively emotion.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I watch about 10 minutes a day,
Mhm.
5 in the morning and 5 at night. Plus the fact that my phone is dinging and binging and sending me all kinds of messages all
Mhm.
day. So there's no way I don't know what's going on. And it's just some of it's overkill.
Right.
After a while, when you read 5 negative articles in a row, it's like, hey man, that's enough. I don't want to see that. I get it. I know times are tough. I'm
Mhm.
not oblivious to it. It's not like we're pretending it isn't happening. But I learned something a lot of times ago, long time ago, and that is I try not to worry about things that I can't control.
Mhm.
I can't control that. I'm not that strong,
Right.
So I'm going to do the things that I can do, and I'm going to control the things I can control, and that is to be positive, stay upbeat, try to be accommodating and helpful every way that we can, and try
Mhm.
to keep my people working and busy. You know,
For
and
sure.
so far we've done that.
For sure. How did you get started in the industry?
I just had an interest in the automobiles and in selling and things of that nature. And quite honestly, when I had got out of school, I was interviewing for several different jobs, some that were completely unrelated. I really had the most interest in the automobile business, but it was very scary for me at the time because back in those days, it was if you sold something great, you made some money. If you didn't, tough baloney, you just go home
Yeah.
without a check.
Yeah.
So that was
Appreciate
an
the use of
interesting.
baloney right there
Yeah,
too.
well, yeah, I know. I couldn't think of a better word at
I
the moment.
just no, I
Yeah,
know where you're
yeah, you know what I wanted to
oh
say.
yeah, oh
But
yeah.
so it was a good time for me to give it a try. And actually, it was a friend of mine's mom who kind of convinced me, and she was a lady who had a very good job, and hated her job, and she impressed upon me that, hey, if this is something you like and at your age and your enthusiasm, try it. You should do
Mhm.
it. If it doesn't work out, what's the worst thing that happens? You go on to something else.
Mhm.
And really, because of that was really the reason that I took that job. And kind of went from there. And I had some good mentors along the way. I've been very fortunate to have some people that were happy to share knowledge with me and weren't afraid of that, because a lot of people are, that God forbid I train you and then you're better than me, those sorts of things.
Right,
And
right.
these guys, there's a few of them in particular that just, they really saw something in me and had a lot of faith in me, probably more faith than I even had in myself at that time. So that was a big part of my success.
Could you do you think back then, back in 1980, 1981, you would have ever thought that you owned two dealerships?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love I love that.
absolutely.
I love
And
it.
and 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 you know what? Probably because I was young and dumb. I didn't realize how hard it was to come up with the financing and the cash. But
You're
probably
determined
just
though.
I just didn't know any better. So it was a good thing because people told me all the time, "Oh, kid, you're dreaming. You'll never own a store. You'll never do
Right.
this. You'll never do that." And once again, I was fortunate to have people that really believed in me. My first store, I was a 25% partner, and I borrowed a whole lot of money for me at that time,
Yeah.
because that person had faith in me and you know thought that it would be a good deal for them as well. So it was that first step that kind of got me going, and then kind of went from there. And my first
Yeah.
deal was, I had agreed to buy out my partner in 5 years, and I bought him out in 2, and then went from
Yeah.
there. So it's been a great experience. But yeah, probably the most important or the most interesting part about that was, had I had more knowledge, I might have been more difficult,
Yeah.
because I just believed that with my tenacity and my work ethic, I'd make it happen.
You're a
And
bulldog. Is that fair?
well, like I said, I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. But
It
I
is
had
meant to
some
be.
I had some good mentors along the way that really helped me to get there.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. Well, that's awesome. Do you ever take time to reflect on where you were then and where you are now?
Um, I you know Probably not a whole lot, really. I don't really believe in looking back too much. I look back at the good stuff. I look back at the fun times, the funny
Yeah.
things, all that, in a good way. But as far as business and moving forward, I'm more interested in growing,
Mm-hmm.
Even during this time right now, I can't say as the last few days that you're real interested in a growth mode, but
Right.
it's more of a, but I know long term, absolutely we are. As you know, Mike, I have family involved in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've got a son-in-law, my daughter. They're both involved heavily, and my son as well in a ancillary business that we own as well.
Yeah.
And so I have a desire to expand. I also truly, I have some really good coworkers. I mean,
Mhm.
I've got some really good long-term people. I've got a young guy sitting next to me in the same room. I'll toot his horn a little bit, but here,
Is
no,
that
in all
Anthony?
seriousness, he's doing a great job. And young guy, young by your standards and my standards, I think he's 24 years old. And to
Yeah.
be in a management position, I think is quite an honor and quite an achievement for him. Um, and he's going to be a really good car guy. So, the thing about it is with a strong management team and a strong group of people and long-term employees, our business is so historically known for high levels of turnover.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an extremely low turnover. And I think it's because we've done a good job of creating a great atmosphere and a positive atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
a good place to work. And I love when people come here from other places because I think once they've had a taste of some of the places that are out there, I seem like a pretty good guy.
Right, right. The bar's set pretty low, huh?
Yeah,
No, but I
exactly.
think anyone that's ever met you knows that you're a huge family guy, and I can't help but think and recognize, and you've even said it in the past that really your employees are part of your family, and
Oh,
that
absolutely.
so that mentality has to reflect upon the
Yeah.
people staying with you very
Yeah,
long
I think
time.
it does. We really do, look at long-term relationships. So many people in business as a whole, not just the car business, you hire somebody and maybe they're just not really working out that great, and they give up on them.
Mhm.
I've had great success hanging in there with people that deserved it.
Mhm.
One of the lessons I've told all my managers over the years is, you never take firing somebody lightly. You're messing with people's livelihoods. You give them every opportunity to be successful. And the key to me is that, nobody wants to fire somebody. It's easy to fire a bad guy. That's easy.
Mhm.
Nobody cares about that. But, these are good people. Even if they don't work out sometimes, it doesn't mean they're not a good person. It just maybe isn't the right fit. My rule always is, you need to be able to look yourself in the mirror before you ever let anybody go and ask yourself, did I do everything I could do to make that person successful?
Right.
If the answer is yes, then you don't have to feel bad about letting that person go. If
Mhm.
the answer is no, then you better figure out what you need to do so that you can answer yes to that question. And I was really proud just recently in the last 6 months, probably the first time I ever had it happen. I had a manager come to me about letting somebody go, and I asked him the question. I said, "Have you done everything you could do?" And he hesitated. And once he hesitated,
Yep.
of course, it was over. And he said,
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I said, "Well, if you're not sure, then the answer is no."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
back to the drawing board, and he did. And 6 months later, we have a guy that just turned the corner as a good employee.
How
You
awesome is
know,
that?
so I think those people tend to also appreciate those things, and they know what kind of people we are and the kind of atmosphere that we try to have. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big believer in it. Yes.
For sure. Yeah, no, I love hearing that, especially as you said in today's age, too many people are quick to fire and
Yeah.
almost look at it as pure numbers. They don't
Yeah.
recognize, as you said, the
And
fact that
there's people that are very successful doing things that way, and
Mhm.
it's just not for me. It's
Yeah.
not my style. It's not how I want my family to run things. It's not how I want my management to run things. I take a lot of pride in that, and
Mhm.
I sleep just fine at night.
As
In
you
fact, I
should.
sleep like a baby, even now in these rough times, because I
Yeah.
know we're doing everything we can.
And
We're
that's all you
doing
can do.
everything we can. So what else? What else is there?
That is a
Worrying
great
is
point.
not going to get anything.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a great point that really how you run your business must be a reflection of who you are as a person, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Without
I
a
and I
doubt.
really believe my family has learned those lessons as well, and I think they're really on that same track of
Mhm.
we want everybody to get up in the morning and enjoy being here. When it's time to work, we got to work. When it's time to have a little fun, have a little fun. It's just like now. Times have gotten tough. Everybody has stepped up to the plate.
Well,
Everybody.
your daughter Danielle definitely has your work ethic. I know that.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the good thing she didn't get my looks, so that's a good thing. Yeah.
I set you up for that one, didn't I? Speaking of family, just a couple more questions. Owning a family business has to be hard, and yet you've been so successful at it. What recommendations do you have for anyone?
That was a big thing to me when Danielle, especially when she graduated college and, she was thinking about coming back. That was a concern. We always had such a great relationship. And, now you're going to have to be in not only a father-daughter relationship, but a boss relationship, and you're going to have to critique and you're going, and all those things. And I'm going to tell you that 99% of the time, she might tell you 98%, but I say 99% of the time, we get along great. Yeah. We have our moments. We very seldom talk about work issues outside of work.
That has to be key.
We have enough hours in the day to deal with what we have to deal with. The good news is that when she disagrees with me, she realizes she's wrong. That's a joke, Mike. But no,
I wasn't going to touch that one. I didn't know where to go.
No, we have our moments, but overall, I try to stay open-minded and realize that things change, and you have to listen to the new ideas and different things. She might not always agree with that statement, but I try to be, and we try to stay open-minded and deal with business on a business standpoint, not bring the family side into it. But when Danielle came to work here and when my son came to work here, they both had, Danielle at that time had just finished college. And the first thing I told her, she went and worked at a dealership out in Arizona. I said, go see what it's really like. Go see what it's like where nobody knows you and you're on your own. And she did that. And was successful doing that. And then from there, she came to work at the store, and she went to a dealer academy, which is basically college for the automobile business. And it was a great opportunity. And it was an opportunity I never had. Danielle learned more about different aspects of the business that took me 10 years to learn about, that I had to learn on the fly. She learned from going to this university, if you will. Yeah. And it was a great experience. And I think people here respect that because they saw that, Danielle worked out in the shop and cleaned cars and changed tires and worked in the office and did everything that anybody else would do. And I've always been a big believer in leading by example. Nobody here could ever tell me, oh, no, that's not my job.
Well, I know we here at, obviously, Danielle and I go to the same gym, CrossFit 557, and whenever you have a big snow, we know Danielle's not coming in because Danielle and Bob are out sweeping snow off the cars early in the morning.
Yeah, hey, and good thing get that pitch in for Shane. That's good. Good job.
I'm trying.
He's a good man. He's helped my family out a lot.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
My daughter, he's done stuff for me and my grandsons, and so yeah.
Speaking of, real quick, Anthony, where's he going?
So he's going to Fresno State. Going to be a student and a wrestler.
How awesome is that? That is
very
crazy.
Excited for him. It's a great opportunity. Good school and an excellent coaching staff, and so he's going to be a scholarship athlete, and he's thrilled to death. So
that's awesome. I know you're super proud. So
yeah, absolutely.
I know you're busy. But I really appreciate you taking the time to see me. I love your energy. I love what you've done. I love what you're doing. The positive attitude, great leader in our community. And I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate it. And keep a great attitude. Keep your family safe.
Thanks. You too, Bob. Have a great day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye.